Hi, everybody, and welcome. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. We're going to get started. So we still have a bunch of people filtering in. Really humbled and blessed to see that over 800 people registered for this event. So appreciate all the support, appreciate all the love for the Gage family. Doesn't go unnoticed, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We have exciting news to share. The company will be publicly traded and listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol GAGE, Gage, on Tuesday. So at Tuesday at 9:30, we'll be trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange. It's an extremely exciting event, something that we're all extremely proud of as well at Gage. I'm sure a lot of our shareholders who have joined today are also proud to be a part of the story for many, many years now. We think it's a great step in our evolution as a company as Gage continues to, dominate the Michigan market, increase its market share, and more importantly, look to potentially expand out of Michigan and start to really bring the Gage products that everybody loves to other markets and neighboring markets in and around Michigan. So once again, thank you very much for joining. Today, I'm going to go through the slides that we have, our new presentation. For some of you that joined our last webinar, I'm happy to, obviously tell you and regurgitate some of the information that you already know. Keep in mind, there's some new participants here. And so I just want to also give the opportunity for everyone to fully hear the Gage story. And then moving forward, as we get to, an opportunity for people to ask questions, I'll try to quickly go through, all the questions that are in the system and make sure I answer them for everybody. So we're going to get started here. So Gage as a company, we're solely focused on the Michigan market. Michigan has been a phenomenal market over the past couple of years. We've seen Michigan go from being outside of the top 10 in terms of, monthly sales and yearly sales, catapulting itself to a top 10 market in 2020, and actually being a top 6 market in 2020. We think at the company, Michigan can battle it out for a top 5 spot in 2021. There's been exceptional growth in that market. We continue to see such strong demand for the Gage and Cookies branded products within that market. And also, when you take a look at even the consumption habits of the people of Michigan, they're some of the highest cannabis consumers in the country. We feel blessed to obviously be a part of that, and more importantly, are going to continue to take advantage of the Michigan growth as a whole. Michigan has this strong underlying medical patient base. The medical patient base has been the second largest medical patient base in the country, behind only California for many, many years. Florida overtook Michigan in 2020 in terms of medical patient base, patients, as we kind of moved to medical only system to also an adult use system. So from December 1st, 2019, when rec came into play in Michigan, you see the Michigan market just exploding in terms of size. You take a look at the past month, January, February, phenomenal, both over 100 million in sales in Michigan. And we actually will continue to see growth in that Michigan market. We're already at a $1.3 billion run rate based on the first 2 months of the year. And we think we can get closer and closer to 2 billion run rate by the end of this year. It's going to be an exciting time. There's a great demographic in Michigan. It's great people as well. Over 70% of the population can consume the product. So again, just a very, very strategic market, one of the more important markets in the US cannabis landscape. And more importantly, there really isn't a strong MSO presence in Michigan. Gage has the opportunity to really go after this particular market and really, really start to shine. If you take a look at just some of the growth that Michigan has experienced that I alluded to, the percentages are off the charts. If you take a look at where we were as an industry in Michigan in 2019, where we went to in 2020, and where we're going in 2021, it's really an unparalleled market in terms of growth. There are few other states that can actually compete with that type of growth. One I can think of is Illinois. Illinois gets so much fanfare, so much excitement in the market from industry participants and industry followers, and yet Michigan, just as big, just as strong, and just as fast in terms of growth, doesn't get that same type of love. We hope to change that, obviously being a publicly traded company. We hope to shine a light on how great the Michigan market is, and obviously how great the Gage brand is as well. So many of you are asking, why Gage, which makes us special? We're one of the larger vertically integrated operators in the state of Michigan. The team is backed by individuals that have capital markets experience, and then more importantly, operational experience. The two founders of the company, the two main founders, Mike and Rami, have deep, deep cannabis culture connections. They understand what the market wants. They understand what the market needs. It's a testament to why this brand has been so successful in the Michigan market for now, quite a decent amount of time. You take a look at experience on the team in terms of capital markets. Some of our, financial backers, which include XIB Financial, Jason Wild Asset Management. These are tier one institutional investors that have been investing in the cannabis space for now, the better part of half a decade. These are the individuals that are supporting us. You look at the capital markets team as well. These are individuals that have brought companies public in the past. We know what it takes to have a successful company that is publicly traded. We know what investors are looking for, and we're going to try extremely, extremely hard to ensure that we keep on hitting our goals that we tell our investors as we progress throughout the 2021 year, sorry. As I mentioned, one of the larger vertically integrated portfolios in the space in Michigan, we have over 3 cultivation assets that we currently operate. And in addition, we already have 5 contract grow agreement partners where in total, we have about 8 different facilities across the state of Michigan that is growing Gage and Cookies product. This type of cultivation footprint is unparalleled in the industry right now. I can think of only one potentially other competitor in the Michigan market that can actually compete with us in terms of cultivation size and cultivation production footprint. You look at our processing assets. Right now, we have 2 processing assets that are mainly used as packaging and distribution hubs. Now we're actually moving towards construction of our processing lab at our Monitor Township location. That is going to bring in margin expansion and top line growth to the company. Majority of the product we've been selling up until this point has predominantly been third-party product when it comes to the extract-based side of things. As the company expands, as the company grows, you're going to start to see even more top-line expansion and margin expansion as the company comes out with its own carts, it comes out with its own concentrates, and more importantly, a wide variety of those types of products, really giving the consumers of Michigan what they're looking for. Lastly, our retail portfolio footprint, extremely strong. One of the strongest in the industry in Michigan. We have 12 current licenses. 7 of those are operational. We want to move, to 20 plus locations by the end of this year. We hope to secure, through acquisition, 20 locations by the end of Q2 or bare minimum at the end of Q3, with the hopes of having all 20 operational by the end of this year. Our portfolio, we have a differentiated product portfolio. People love the Gage and Cookies brand. These are some of the top brands in the space right now. We're commanding premium pricing in the Michigan market. And then more importantly, when we actually look at our scale, as I previously mentioned, going to be very, very difficult to compete with us at scale in the near future and, for many months to come. Again, just a market comparison, having you take a look at where we are relative to some of the bigger markets in the space right now. California, massive market. Colorado, also massive. But you could see that Gage and Cookies within Michigan are closely on the heels of some markets like Illinois, Oregon, and Florida. We think humbly that the Michigan market can compete with the Illinois market and most definitely the Florida market this year in 2021, and may battle it out for that number 3 ranking spot for total sales in 2021. A couple of operating highlights. So I talked about our cultivation capacity. If you take a look at our numbers from 2020, it really doesn't tell you the full story that Gage is experiencing today. We've had such a massive cultivation ramp over the past couple months that it's actually staggering. And it's really unparalleled in this industry because we've been able to do it via capital light model. Not only did we bring our 3rd cultivation asset online in December, which essentially doubled our capacity. So finally now having more product to satisfy those Michigan consumers and try to slow down how quickly we sell out a product by having more supply. We haven't yet been able to catch up to that demand, but are closely and slowly but surely building ourselves up to really being able to have a wide array of products, a wide supply of flavors at our store, and really give the consumers the variety and the quality that they're used to when they come into a Gage or Cookies branded dispensary. You can see we ramped up quite quickly in March from a cultivation standpoint, and ramping up even heavier once we get to June. In a couple slides, I'll show you where we'll be by the end of the year in terms of cultivation, which again is going to be a pretty staggering number. You take a look at our basket sizes. We have leading industry basket size numbers. We have actually leading retail numbers as well. Our basket sizes are 164 on average in 2020. We're continuing to maintain a similar average basket size. It's a testament to how strong people feel about the Gage brand. keep in mind, the state of Michigan is a very competitive market, and yet we're performing so well with industry leading metrics. As you kind of expand, with us and, with the Gage brand, you're going to see our cultivation footprint, as previously mentioned, expand to 10 different contract growers. 3 facilities will be our own. We'll be expanding to another 10. So we'll have 13 facilities growing Gage and Cookies product by the end of this year, which we're extremely, extremely excited about. Funny enough, Gage hasn't really been around that long from an operational standpoint. The company was incorporated a little over 3 years ago, solely focused on building up its real estate portfolio and going after really great retail locations. In the middle of 2019, we finally began our operations. Actually, it was more in the middle of the summer of 2019 as we approached the fall, where we had our first cultivation asset online. We only opened up our first dispensary actually in the September 2019. So you're really seeing in a short period of time, frankly, in an 18-month period of time, exceptional growth from a company like ours. We are good stewards of capital. We work day and night to ensure that we're doing the absolute best for our shareholders and consumers. And the growth that you see not only today and historically, especially as exemplified on this slide, is going to be one that we continue to execute on. We're not happy with just growing from 1 to now 7 facilities growing Gage and Cookies product. We want to get to the 13, maybe even more at the end of this year. Our monthly capacity numbers going from a measly 200 at the beginning of 2020, jumping to 3,000 by the end of Q2 of this year, and then hopefully going to 5,000 by the end of this year as well on a monthly basis. So these are substantial numbers. That 5,000 a pound is going to look like 60,000 plus, pounds of product on a yearly basis. So these are some substantial numbers, some of the best production capacity that there is, not only in Michigan, but also in the industry generally, if you compare it to some of our competitors. You look at our basket sizes as well. We're very, very keen on ensuring that our brand is always, put forth in the proper way. We continue to focus on making sure that the cannabis, consumer has the best experience possible when they come to one of our dispensaries. You see our basket sizes have increased also in size. We already started off at a respectable 130 in the month of January in 2020 and quickly expanded, to what we have today, which we're on average maintaining that 155 to 170 zone on a consistent basis on a monthly basis for our actual average basket size. Our stores only had 1 last year around this time, and now we're jumping to 7. We're going to have our 8th dispensary open in a couple weeks. And I really want to open a store on average 1 time a month in the 2020 year, really trying to ramp us up to getting to that 20 location mark by the end of this year. You take a look at our brand portfolio. I would say it is one of the better brand portfolios in the space. We've partnered with the illustrious Cookies brand. Cookies is hands down the best brand in the space right now. Their ability to constantly innovate, their ability to constantly come to the market with top-notch products is second to none. We really envy what they're doing at Cookies and have used that partnership to learn from them, to learn how to build such a strong and successful brand. And we're particularly proud about having that partnership. We treat the Cookies brand as if it's our own in Michigan. We help grow and build that Cookies brand just the same as, we're growing our Gage and the Slang brands that we'll probably have in the next couple months here as well. Slang, another great partner, one of the best kind of brands in the space in terms of the actual sub brands that they have within their product family. If you take a look at Open Vape, I think Open Vape is probably one of the most successful selling, I don't think actually, I know, it's one of the most successful selling vape pen brands, in the market over the past half decade. And so bringing these kind of top-notch brands to market in Michigan, having exclusivity over those brands is again a testament to what these companies think of Gage and how they appreciate Gage. Right now, you see some of our product examples. That's only going to explode. This month, we had about 15 flavors of flower in production at our facilities, and not only our facilities, but our contract grow facilities. We're going to be expanding to 30 different flavors here in Q2. So all those consumers that have joined on this webinar, get ready for some phenomenal product that's coming due in the next couple of weeks here. So it's a really great idea to obviously try to build a brand, but it's one thing to actually execute on that. And in the cannabis space, what do you actually need to execute on that? And that's actually quality flower product. Flower as a category is king. Not enough people appreciate that in this industry. Most companies out there, they go and rush and try to be the best that they can in absolutely every single category. Unfortunately, this industry is not built like that. We started with flower. We focused on flower. We produce some of the best flower product in the state of Michigan. And our pricing is reflective of that. Majority of the product we produce and our contract growers produce sell for 55 an eighth, which is well in excess of $15 a gram. We put so much time and effort into the post-production process, and we constantly come up with new varieties to keep the consumer happy, to keep the consumer excited about coming to a Gage or Cookies branded dispensary on a weekly basis. Back to our cultivation assets. As I mentioned, the majority of the 2020 year, we were only operating out of the Harrison and Warren locations. Those are two small facilities. We were good stewards of capital. We didn't go blow our brains out on a massive 1 million square foot greenhouse, basically torching shareholder capital with a massive project like that. We started off small. We started off humble. We wanted to see how would the market react to the Gage brand, to the Cookies brand in Michigan. We started with these two small facilities. Once we had the confidence and the knowledge that we were actually gaining traction as a brand, we went out and actually built our phase 1 of our Monitor Township. We've actually quickly accelerated to build our phase 2, which is an 80,000 square foot room-only expansion on our Monitor Township location to ensure that we continue to keep up with the very strong demand that we're seeing. And again, in total, from just our own production, we will end this year and start the next year at a 3,000 pound run rate, meaning 36,000 pounds of product a year. When you couple that with where we'll begin in 2021 with all of our contract growers, as things stand today, you're looking at a scenario where we will have 7,000 pounds of monthly production at the start of 2022. This means, over 80,000 pounds of product will be produced that are Gage and Cookies branded in the 2022 year. This is something that's extremely important to recognize, that we are going about it in a capital light way. Again, we are not, going and torching shareholder capital by building these massive, square feet facilities where, we're spending so much of the capital and not really getting anything in return for so long. We've partnered with some of the best licensed producers in Michigan to help us grow and expand the Cookies and Gage brand. This is again, via capital light model. I did not pay for the CapEx for the expansion of these contract growers. I do not pay for the OpEx. And more importantly, they pay for packaging, testing, and secure transporting. So in total, I am sharing in 50% of the retail margin with these contract growers. And they're actually getting some pretty nice prices per pound for working with us, some of the best on the wholesale market. And so all in all, I'm achieving 50+% gross margin through my contract growers without having to spend $1. This is an important key point about this company and will kind of exemplify why we feel so confident in how quickly we can ramp up. We are not ramping up just ourselves. We are using our partners to help ramp this business and to help ramp up the Gage brand. And we're also de-risking ourselves. Often in this industry, you have a couple of actual facilities that will be under a company's portfolio. Should something go wrong with one of those facilities, it can greatly reduce the potential top line and earnings potential of that company within that year. Here, we're going to be spread across 13 different facilities, essentially de-risking the cultivation business model as a company. It's great to produce quality flower. More importantly, you need to produce a great customer experience. We pride ourselves on how our dispensaries look, on the design, and more importantly, we're rewarded with that with high basket sizes. The state of Michigan has some of the highest basket sizes in the country, nearing approximately $85 per customer. Now look at our basket size in 2020, nearly double that. And again, it's a testament to the Gage brand. It's a testament to our brand partners, such as Cookies, that show just how strong of a desire people have for the Gage brand as we continue to expand in more markets from a retail standpoint and continue to ramp up our production. It's one thing for me to tell you how great these retail locations are, and it's another thing for me to actually win awards. We constantly win awards for social media. We constantly win awards for our retail locations. These are third parties that come and obviously vet the experience that they have, not only on our social media, but also at retail. So again, shows you just, how much pain and effort we actually go through to ensure our brand is represented in the best possible way to the consumer. When you take a look at accessibility of our retail locations, as I said, we've only been in operations for about 18 months. So it was pretty key to focus on the fact that the first 18 months since we incorporated this company to try to secure great cultivation and, more importantly, retail locations in Michigan. There's this common misconception that people think, oh, Michigan's an unlimited license market. I don't want to be there as an investor and I don't want to be there as an operator. Foolish thinking, in my eyes. If you take a look at how big the Michigan market is, you just need to be intelligent with where you put your money and how you invest shareholder capital when you come to Michigan. We did that. We went and secured solid locations that essentially reach 90% of the Michigan population within a 1 hour's drive. I want to actually move towards getting 20 locations open, as I mentioned earlier, and trying to take that number to 30 minutes within 90, or maybe even greater than 90% of that population in Michigan. Not only is that going to help create better accessibility than we already have with our current portfolio, but also it's going to help with our delivery model that we're going to be implementing in 2021 as we continue to ramp up that side of our business as well. Right now, we have 7 locations in operation. 2 of those locations are Cookies. The Detroit location, is one of the top performing medical dispensaries in the state. In addition, the Kalamazoo locations for Cookies is the first adult use cookie store in the Midwest and obviously in Michigan. We continue to see phenomenal demand for the Cookies product, and you'll see that we'll be opening up a few more cookie stores. Soon in this quarter, we hope to open a cookie store in Bay City, and then more importantly, we'll be opening a Lemonade, which is a sub-brand of the Cookies family, in Centerline, just outside of Detroit. We're particularly excited about those 2 expansions. In addition, we'll have another 3 Gage locations. Keep in mind, we also have consumption lounge licenses. I know, obviously we went through a difficult period over the past year with the pandemic. Consumption lounges weren't something that anyone was going to get excited about anytime soon. Now, as we start to see the country as a whole start to open up a little bit more, keep a keen eye on Gage, because we're going to look to expand some of our consumption lounges and actually have some of them operational in 2021. It's going to be an exciting time and something I'm extremely looking forward to. Again, it's a great, strategy that we've put in place in terms of, how we want to bring the brand to market, how we brought the brand to market in Michigan, how we want to continue to develop our brand in the state of Michigan as well. We really put a lot of time and effort into market awareness and brand awareness as well. You take a look at any of our social medias, you take a look at any of our social media for our brand partners, and you can actually see just how well followed and how much people respect these brands. We continually, as I said, win awards for our social media. You're going to continue to see, great interaction. It's a testament to how strong our brand is. If a brand tells you, hey, we're one of the best brands in the cannabis space, you go look at their social media, there's no interaction, no one's really commenting, no one really caring, what this company posts. It tells you, it tells you something. It tells you that, they're probably lying to you. And number 2, it's not as big of a brand as, they made it out to be. You come take a look at our social media, our Cookie social media. You can actually see the interaction. You can see the amount of followers. You can actually vet all those followers to actually see that they're all real people and real followers that actually care about the brand, that enjoy following the brand. We're going to continue to expand our brand as we move forward. We're going to continue to expand our brand not only in Michigan, but in other markets moving forward as well. I touched briefly upon the Cookies partnership. Again, one of the more illustrious brands in the space right now. I kind of, give the analogy, it's like working, with Nike when you're trying to launch a sneaker company. You get the benefit of all the hard work that brand has actually done and established in the space. You get to take advantage of their IP, their know-how, their ideas in terms of brand building. They're a phenomenal partner of ours. We think highly of them, and we continue to try to be hopefully their best, partner that they have outside of California. We have 2 operational stores with them right now and moving to 4 hopefully by the middle of Q3, and maybe even more by the end of the year. We're actually going to be hopefully, acquiring more retail locations in our portfolio in the next couple months here. And I would stay tuned to see where more and more Cookies locations may crop up in the state of Michigan. Again, I just want to quickly go through our asset portfolio, let you guys know, and remind you guys of, just the fact that we're one of the larger vertically integrated operators. A very, very strong cultivation backdrop, as I've already described. A very, very strong processing that we'll have up and running, not only with our 2 packaging and distribution hubs, but more importantly with our own processing lab by the end of Q2. And then again, lastly, just a great, strong retail portfolio that's really reaching the majority of the population in a great way. We'll have all those 12 locations open by the end of the year, and even more, which we hope to add, as I mentioned. You take a look at our management team and our board of directors. It's filled with experience. It's filled with experience not only on the cannabis operations side of things, but also on the actual, capital market side of things. Also, you have good public company exposure and experience on our board and management team as well. I think often, either one or the other, gets overlooked. Is a company not really going after the true culture, the true, street culture of the cannabis branding, of the cannabis industry? Is it focusing too much on being a publicly traded company? I think Gage has a great mix of people that know what it takes to be a publicly traded company, know how to maintain that public currency, and more importantly, is built on the back of just first-rate and unparalleled operations, and individuals that really truly appreciate what cannabis consumers want and look for in a brand and in products, obviously, and service offerings. So all in all, obviously, I appreciate everyone that joined. Thank you very, very much for your time. Be ready. We'll have some more announcements as we progress as a company, show you how we're growing, how we're benefiting from, some of the amazing things we're doing in Michigan. I thank you all, obviously, for your support. If you're a shareholder on the line and you've been supporting us now for the better part of multiple years, thank you. Thank you for your patience. If you're a potential new shareholder, I encourage you, send any questions to ir@gageusa.com. Either myself or my colleague will reply to your inquiries. We're going to be trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol GAGE on Tuesday morning. Again, under the symbol GAGE on the Canadian Securities Exchange. We'll have our OTCQX up listing, hopefully within the next couple weeks of trading. And so everyone stay tuned for that as well. Thank you very, very much for joining. I'm very much looking forward to our trading day. If I did not get to your questions, I apologize. And then more importantly, email us at ir@gageusa.com. Happy to answer any questions that come through. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and thank you for your support.